तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and we are in the conversations of 9th November 1884 and we have studied up to this point that we have to pick up Sri Ramakrishna was smoking. M and Gopal finished their supper. They decided to sleep in the Navbat. M again sat on the floor near Sri Ramakrishna. Master to M, there may be some pots and pans in the Navbat. Why not sleep here in this room? So Thakur had some special purpose, it seems. Other than the difficulty of sleeping in the Navbat, Thakur has some very special purpose. And out of love, he wants nearness, love, you are my own, so why not sleep in my room? M, very well, sir. Up to this we have studied. Now, page 662 and in Bengali, 707, Chaturdasha Pariched. That we pick up now. It was 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting on the small coach, resting against a pillow. M sat on the floor. The master was conversing with him. A lamp burned on a stand near the wall. The master felt great compassion for his devotees. He wanted to bless him by accepting his personal service. That is why he wanted him to sleep in his room. And here the mention of Gopal is not there. For both he might have told, but now Gopal is not being mentioned. Master, my feet ache. Please rub them gently. This is the first purpose. We will find some other important purpose. M seated himself on the small coach. Thakur was resting on the small coach. And Thakur asked M to rub his feet. Sir, so much nearness, difference, no difference, and you are my own. So M dared in a way to sit on the same small coach along with Thakur. And took the master's feet on his lap. So he sat next to Thakur's feet, that is how the Bengali book describes, on the small coach, next to Thakur is reclining or sitting with the pillow. And M just near his feet sat. And now for rubbing the feet, he has taken the feet on his lap. That is how the close relatives, sevaks can venture to do that. So it shows how much there was mutual love, I would say, between Thakur and Mahendranāth. M seated himself on the small coach and took the master's feet on his lap. He stroked them. Now and then Sri Ramakrishna would ask his disciple a question. Now here we'll find the other purpose. And we'll find that the other purpose is that Sri Ramakrishna knows well that M is recording in his diary and later on it will come out as a book. So he wanted to see how much M has remembered correctly. And he'll go on talking. And wherever there would be slightest mistake, Thakur would correct that also. So that the correct report should reach the people when they read the book which will come out of M's diary. So that is the great purpose. Master smiling. How did you like today's conversation? So from here it starts. M. Very much indeed. But Thakur wants particulars. Master smiling. How I spoke about the Emperor Akbar. M. It was very good. Master, repeat it to me. From here we become clear about that. M. A fakir came to visit Akbar. The emperor was saying his prayers. In his prayers, he was asking God to give him wealth and riches. Thereupon the fakir was about to leave the room quietly. Later, when the emperor asked him about it, the fakir said, if I must beg, why should I beg of a beggar? Master, what else did we talk about? He wants all the particulars. M. You told us a great deal about saving up for the future. Master smiling. What did I say? So he wants to see how much M has remembered all the details. M. As long as a man feels that he must try, he should make an effort. How will you told us about it at Siti? So M has remembered something else. Master, what did I say? M. God takes upon himself complete responsibility for one who totally depends upon him. It is like a guardian taking charge of a minor. You also told us that at a feast, a child cannot by himself find a place to eat his meal. Someone finds a place for him. Master, no, that is not quite to the point. So, that incident might be there, but that is not quite to the point. I said that the child doesn't fall if the father leads him and holds his hand. That is to the point. M. You also described the three classes of sadhus. So now, even without Thakur's asking, M has understood and is going on talking. You also described the three classes of sadhus. The best sadhu does not move about to get his food. Akash Vritti or Ajagara Vritti it is called. He lives in one place and gets his food there. You told us about that young sadhu who said when he saw the breasts of a young girl, why has she those abscesses? You told us many other things. Master smiling. That means he has accepted all that. What else? M. What else? So again he wants M. About the crow of Pampa Lake. He repeated the name of Rama day and night. That is why he couldn't drink the water, though he went to its edge. And about the holy man, in whose book was written only Om Rama, and what Hanuman said to Rama. Master, what did he say? So clear it is becoming. Hanuman said to Rama, I saw Sita in Ceylon, but it was only her body. Her mind and soul were lying at your feet. And about the Chatak bird, he will not drink anything but rainwater. And about Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, Master, what did I say about them? So, revision, As long as one is conscious of the jar, the ego will certainly remain. As long as one is conscious of I, one cannot get rid of the idea, I am the devotee and thou art God. No, that example of a jar, Master has quoted wrongly. M has said, as long as one is conscious of the jar, the ego will certainly remain. Master is telling, no, it is not that. The jar doesn't disappear whether one is conscious of it or not. So Thakur had said, not about your remembering the jar, but so long as jar is there, the ego will remain. That is the point. So whether one is conscious of it or not, the jar will remain. One cannot get rid of the I. That is what I had told. So long as the jar is there, one cannot get rid of the I. You may reason 1,000 times, still it will not go. That was the point. M remained silent for a few moments. So M is revising in his mind that correction. M. And now M talks again. M, you had that talk with Ishan Mukherjee in the Kali temple. We were very lucky to be there. So many past conversations Master is remembering, and Thakur wants that to check on them. Master smiling. Yes, yes. Tell me, what did I say? M. You said that work is only the first step. You told us that you said to Shambhu Malik, if God appears before you, will you ask him for a number of hospitals and dispensaries? You said another thing. God does not reveal himself to a person as long as he is attached to work. You said that to Keshav Sen. Because to whom Thakur said is also equally important. Master, what did I say? M. As long as the baby plays with the toy and forgets everything else, its mother looks after her cooking and other household duties. But when the baby throws away the toy and cries, then the mother puts down the rice pot and comes to the baby. You said another thing that day. Lakshmana asked Rama where one could find God after a great deal of it. Lakshmana asked Rama where one could find God. After a great deal of explanation, Rama said to him, Brother, I dwell in the man in whom you find ecstatic love, a love which makes him laugh and weep and dance and sing. Master, this is very correct, and Thakur is experiencing that mood, being God himself. Master, me. Sri Ramakrishna sat in silence for a few minutes because those things have come up in his mind again. M. That day you spoke only words of renunciation to Ishan. Since then, many of us have come to our senses. Now we are eager to reduce our duties. You said that day, Ravana died in Ceylon and Behula wept bitterly for him. That means unnecessary works we add thinking it is my duty. It is not your duty. You are not doing only your duties. But in the name of duties or otherwise, you are involving yourself in so many work that you must renounce, that you must reduce, that you must renounce. This Master Maharaj has understood well. Sri Ramakrishna laughed aloud. Yes, Thakur had told that. And it is such a ludicrous thing that Behula weeps. M. Amli. Sir, isn't it desirable to reduce the number of one's duties and entanglements? Master. Yes, but. So when the but is there, at least he is going to tell some exception. But it is a different thing. If you happen to come across a sadhu or a poor man, then you should serve him. That is not something you are increasing the duty, but it is essential part of your spiritual sadhana for which you want to reduce the duties. So this is not increasing the duties or work. This is a part of the spiritual sadhana. That correction Thakur has made. M. And that day you spoke very rightly to Ishan about flatterers. They are like vultures on a carcass. You once said that to Padmalochan also. That was a mistake. Master, no, to Vamandas of Ulo. Because this M has heard by Thakur repeating, this is not in front of him. Padmalochan came far back. So, this was what Thakur has told him. But he has missed the word. It is not to Padmalochan, it is to Vamandas of Ulo. So, this much is that checking on Master Maharaj's memory. One thing was about his own sadhana, the other things were about that book which he is going to write. So corrections have been made in both. And that is why, that was the primary thing why Thakur wanted M to spend night in his own room. After a while, M sat on the floor near the small coach. That means that rubbing of the feet is over. Sri Ramakrishna felt sleepy. He said to him, go to sleep. Where is Gopal? Please shut the door. Sir, Gopal is not where. We don't know whether Gopal has gone to sleep in that Nabat with pots and pans. So it is very clear here, Thakur wanted Master Maharaj to be near him. Not only to serve Thakur, but all this checking up on his memory and making corrections where necessary, both in the conversations and about Master Maharaj's own sadhana also. So, no reply about Gopal. So there we come to the end of 9th of November 1884. Now no new date is given as a heading, but next morning, Sri Ramakrishna left his bed very early. You see, in Bengali, the next date is mentioned in bracket, birth in bracket 10th November. Somvar. As usual, the day is also mentioned. So here in the gap, you can note down if you like. Monday, tenth November, 1884. Next morning, Sri Ramakrishna left his bed very early. As usual, he chanted the holy names of the different gods and goddesses. Now and then he looked at the sacred river Ganga. The morning worship began in the temple of Radhakanta and Mother Kali. M had spent the night on the floor of the master's room. He left his bed and watched the worship in the different temples. Sri Ramakrishna finished his bath and went with him to the Kali temple. So this is another thing. He saw that thing in the temple, came back. By the time Sri Ramakrishna finished his bath, and then both of them again went there. He asked the disciple to lock the door of his room. It was a sacred room. Nobody should enter other than the devotees. And nobody should steal also. In the temple, he took the seat in front of the image of Kali and offered flowers in the temple, in front of the image of Kali. That means in the Garbhagruha, in the sanctum sanctorium itself. Sometimes at her feet and sometimes on his own head. If he felt the identity, it's a part of the puja also. He fanned the deity. Then he returned to his room, fanned the deity also. Not as a regular ritualistic worship that somebody is doing, but Thakur by himself loved the Divine Mother, so that much he has done. He was freed from the ritualistic worship when Madhur Babu found that he cannot do it now. He fanned the deity. Then he returned to his room and asked him to unlock the door. Entering the room, he sat on the small couch. He was completely overwhelmed with divine fervor because he had just now visited the temple and began to chant the name of God. M sat alone on the floor. Sri Ramakrishna began to sing about the Divine Mother. Who is there that can understand what Mother Kali is? Even the Sikh darshanas are powerless to reveal her. It is she, the scriptures say, that is the inner self of the yogi, who in self discovers all his joy. She that of her own sweet will inhabits every living being. So this is what the yogi realizes. Then he sang, all creation is the sport of my mad mother Kali. By her Maya, the three worlds are bewildered. He continued, O Kali, who can know thee? Numberless are thy forms. Again he sang, O Mother, who is redeem me speedily from terror of the king of death, I am about to die. M said to himself, thought, I wish you would sing, Mother, thou canst not trick me anymore, for I have seen thy crimson lotus feet. M just thought about it. Strangely enough, no sooner had the thought passed through M's mind than Sri Ramakrishna sang the song. So Sri Ramakrishna is Antaryami, he feels the need of a person and he does accordingly. It is not strange for him at all. Strangely enough, no sooner had the thought passed through M's mind than Sri Ramakrishna sang the song. A few minutes later, he said to him, what do you think of the present state of my mind? So now is about us assessing him. That is always useful for the devotee to think of how much what type of manifestation has come in the incarnation, who is otherwise God himself. M smiling. It is your simple and natural state. In Bengali, only one word. To explain it, this has come in English. Sahajavastha. Sahajavastha. What meaning we are getting here? You are not making any effort for anything. You are what you are in the most natural way. This is the meaning. Sahajavastha means you are what you are. You are all your experiences and realizations. Now you are not making any effort for anything. You are what you are. That is Sahajavastha. Sri Ramakrishna sang to himself the following refrain of a song. Thakur has got that word, Sahajavastha. He has appreciated in a way, or he has tested that M has correctly understood, and because of that utterance of Sahajavastha, he feels like talking about it or other singing about it. Unless a man is simple, so from Sahaja, he takes up that portion. Sahaja. In Bengali, simple also is Sahaja. Sri Ramakrishna sang to himself the following refrain of a song: unless a man is simple, he cannot recognize God, the simple one. God is simple because he is one without a second. There is no chance of becoming crooked. And if that one understands, this will come in the consciousness of the devotee when he loses all complexity or crookedness. So that is how the connection goes. You are Sahaj Avastha. And Thakur tells us, yes, when there is Sahaj Avastha, then only God is there. God himself is Sahaj, means one without a second. So, in that way, we come to the end of the 10th November also. And now there is a big jump, almost a month. 4 weeks, maybe 2 days less. So we are entering chapter 34, Bankim Chandra. Bankim Chandra was a great literary man of Bengal, point number one. Point number two, to encourage or inspire the revolutionaries. He had written a novel, Ananda Math, in which the sadhus, the inmates, were all fired with the spirit of patriotism. And the main point is that the song, which is Vande Mataram, which has the status of like the national song, that Vande Mataram is a song in that novel, Ananda Math. The hero is singing that. So this is Bankim Chandra. We can understand his poetry, we can understand his patriotism from this. So the heading is Bankim Chandra. Saturday, December 6, 1884. Adhar, a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, lived in Shobha Bazar in the northern section of Calcutta. Almost every day after finishing his hard work at the office and returning home in the late afternoon, he paid Sri Ramakrishna a visit. After coming back to his home, not on the way, huh? And then he came to Sri Ramakrishna. So sometimes we find other coming quite late in the night, 8 o'clock. His sole delight was to visit the master. But he would hear very little of what Sri Ramakrishna said. For after saluting the master and visiting the temples, he would be down at the master's request on the mat spread on the floor and would soon fall asleep. Tired in office, comes back to house, changes his dress, comes to Sri Ramakrishna. And so Sri Ramakrishna knows it very well. So, visiting the temples, coming back to Sri Ramakrishna's room and sleeping there. Fall asleep. About this fall asleep, shall I comment? Why he fell asleep? Because he could not remain awake. He was tired. Some people fall asleep because they drink. Sometimes in the club itself they sleep and then they are sent back to their houses. Or if they drink, they fall asleep. As against this, there are some people who go to bed. That means they decide that now we shall retire. So according to that, they may do some chanting, bhajan, meditation, reading, and then go to sleep. So this is the difference in the language description. Fall asleep only because you are tired. Now tired may be actual physical tired or losing your brain due to drinking. And go to bed means a planned thing. Now I shall go to bed. And before that, he would do something spiritual and then go to bed. Anyway, this phrase made me put this remark. So others' sole delight was to visit the master, not to talk to him or listen to him. So he sees Sri Ramakrishna, he visits the temples, and in Sri Ramakrishna's room itself he sleeps. At the master's request, and Sri Ramakrishna knew all this, so he made him sleep in his room, just as we saw he told Master Masha in the last day. At 9 or 10 o'clock, he would be awakened to return home. So it is not the night sleep. If he has come at 8 o'clock, 1 or 2 hours he sleeps, then he gets up, that tiredness is gone, and he goes back to his own house. However, he considered himself blessed to be able to visit the God-man of Dakshineshwar. So he was able to visit, had darshan, that is what he loved to do. At others' request, Sri Ramakrishna often visited his house. His visits were occasions for religious festivals. Devotees in large numbers would assemble and others would feed them sumptuously. One day while Sri Ramakrishna was visiting his home, others said to him, so some previous history is being described here. Others said to him, Sir, you haven't come to our house for a long time. The room seemed gloomy and they had a musty smell. But today, the whole house is cheerful. The sweetness of your presence fills the atmosphere. Today, I called on God earnestly. I even shed tears while praying. Is that so? The master said tenderly. casting a kindly glance on his disciple. Sri Ramakrishna arrived at others' house with his attendants. Everyone was in a joyous mood. Other had arranged a rich feast. Many strangers were present. At others' invitation, several other deputy magistrates, other was a deputy magistrate, had come. They wanted to watch the master and judge his holiness. They have come as testers. Among them was Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. So he was also a deputy magistrate, or he came with them. Perhaps the greatest literary figure of Bengal during the latter part of the 19th century. Not all time great, but that time period great. He was one of the creators of modern Bengali literature and wrote on social and religious subjects. Bankim was a product of the contact of India with England. He gave modern interpretation of the Hindu scriptures and advocated drastic social reforms. So at that point of contact, reaction like had come from Hinduism. Sri Ramakrishna had been talking happily with the devotees when Other introduced several of his personal friends to him. Other introducing Bankim. Sir, he is a great scholar and has written many books. He has come here to see you. His name is Bankim Babu. Babu is a gentleman. Master smiling. Bankim, well, what has made you bent? So he put, Bankim means bent. You know, Sri Krishna, his body is bent in three parts, three spots. And so, bent in two parts, so the body becomes divided in three like. And so, Bankim Chandra is the name of Sri Krishna originally. And to remind others of that, that name is given to a child born. Other introducing Bankim. Sir is a great scholar and has written many books. He has come here to see you. His name is Bankim Babu. Thakur catches the word Bankim, crooked or bent. Master smiling. Bankim, well, what has made you bent? Radha's love had made Krishna bent. What has made you bent? Bankim smiling. Why, sir? Boots are responsible for it. The kicks of our white masters have bent my body. She has taken up the humor and put some realistic facts before Sri Ramakrishna. Maybe great, maybe documented, but they are kicked by the Europeans. Master, no, my dear sir. Sri Ramakrishna comes back to the original source of his remark. Sri Krishna was bent on account of his ecstatic love. His body was bent in three places owing to his love for Radha. That is how some people explain Sri Krishna's form. Do you know why he has a deep blue complexion? So taking that hint now, Thakur is talking about Krishna. He wants some pretext of talking about God and his incarnation. And why he is of such a small stature, only 3.5 cubits measured by his own hand, that is in comparison with the infinitude which he already has. Good looks go as long as he is seen from a distance. God, no, not good. God looks so small, 3.5 cubits. God looks so as long as he is seen from a distance. So the water of the ocean looks blue from afar, but if you go near the ocean and take the water in your hand, you will no longer find it blue. It will be very clear, transparent. So, the sun appears small because it is very far away. So, similarly, sun appears small because it is far away. If you go near it, you will no longer find it small. When one knows the true nature of God, he appears neither blue nor soft. So, that is not blue nor small, because you can see the real nature is infinite and colorless in a way, taking up all colors. But that is a far off vision. One does not see it except in samadhi, not by these eyes. As long as I and you exist, name and form will also exist. That is world of our experience. Everything is God's Leela, play without realism, play without change in God. As long as I and you exist, name and form will also exist. Everything is God's Leela, His sportive pleasure. Leela, His sportive pleasure. As long as a man is conscious of I and you, he will experience the manifestation of God through diverse forms. So many forms he will see of God. Sri Krishna is the Purusha, Srimati is the Shakti, the primal power. The two are Purusha and Prakriti. What is the meaning of the Yugala Murti, both together? The conjoined images of Radha and Krishna, it is that Purusha and Prakriti are, it is that Purusha and Prakriti are not different. That is the meaning. There is no difference between them. Purusha cannot exist without Prakriti, and Prakriti cannot exist without Purusha. So they are identical. If you mention the one, the other is understood. He explains, it is like fire and its power to burn. One cannot think of fire without its power to burn. Again, one cannot think of the fire's power to burn without fire. Therefore, in the conjoined images of Radha and Krishna, Krishna's eyes are fixed on Radha's eyes, and Radha's on Krishna's. Radha's complexion is golden, like lightning. So Krishna wears yellow apparel. Krishna's complexion is blue, like a dark cloud. So Radha wears a blue dress. She has also decked herself with blue sapphires. Radha has twinkling anklets, so Krishna has them too. They're common. In other words, there is inner and outer harmony between Purusha and Prakriti, common at some point and complementary at the other point. As Sri Ramakrishna finished these words, Bankim and his friends began to whisper in English. Master, smiling to Bankim and the others. Well, gentlemen, what are you talking about in English? Other, we are discussing what you have just said, your explanation of Krishna's form. Master, smiling. That reminds me of a funny story. Because he has not understood, so on that he is creating a humor. It makes me want to laugh. Once a barber was shaving a gentleman. The latter was cut slightly by the razor. At once he cried out, "Damn!" But the barber didn't know the meaning of the word. He put his razor and other shaving articles aside, tucked up his shirt sleeve. It was winter, even then he tucked up his shirt sleeve and said, "You said damn to me. Now you must tell me its meaning." The gentleman said, "Don't be silly. Go on with your shaving. The word doesn't mean anything in particular, but shave a little more carefully." But the barber wouldn't let him off so easily. He said, "If damn means something good, then I am a damn. My father is a damn, and all my ancestors are dams." Allah. But because he does not understand that. But if it means something bad, then you are a dam, your father is a dam, and all your ancestors are dam. Allah. They are not only dam, but damn, 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 damn. Loud laughter. So, as he did not understand, he has put it in this way, humor. As the laughter stopped, Bankim began the conversation. Bankim, "Sir, why don't you preach?" Master, smiling, "Preaching? It is only a man's vanity that makes him think of preaching." A man is but an insignificant creature. It is God alone who will preach. God who has created the sun and moon and so illumined the universe is preaching such. So he has created everything for man, he will preach also. He is preaching such a trifling affair. You cannot preach unless God reveals himself to you and gives you the command to preach. So either God himself can preach or God gives a man of realization the command to preach, or to a sadhak also. Of course, no one can stop you from preaching without all these things. Huh? You haven't received the command, but still you cry yourself hoarse. People will listen to you a couple of days and then forget all about it. It is like any other sensation. As long as you speak, people will say, "Ah, he speaks well." And the moment you stop, everything will disappear. So unless one has God's that brand, it will not have any effect on the minds of the people. You may be a great scholar. The milk in the pot hisses and swells as long as there is heat under it. Take away the heat and the milk will quiet down as before. So, practical illustration of the world, everyday world. So that message goes inside. One must increase one's strength for by sadhana. Otherwise, one cannot preach. So, a sadhak also can preach, but he should increase by his sadhana, his strength, then he can preach. Oh, I wanted to avoid that. But I told about myself perhaps sometime that when my Guruji or other teachers used to teach us, they used to hammer every day practically that this is for your spiritual growth, not for preaching, not for writing books or notes or articles, not for telling it to others, but for your own spiritual development, you are listening. Shravan is a sadhana. Now, after I went to Belur Math for sannyas and came back, my Guruji told me, from tomorrow you have to teach, you have to take classes. As he fell down from the sky, I told him, up to yesterday you were talking like that. He said, unless you teach now, your knowledge will not grow. So I understood that he wants me to teach as a part of my sadhana. Now this many teachers have experienced, that when they study, they think they have understood. But when they try to teach, then they really understand. I have heard this from teachers. So my knowledge would not have increased, grown, unless I started teaching then. So it is clear, as Thakur is telling here, the sadhaks also preach. But they get a command. Now the man of realization, which my Guruji was, on his command I have been talking. Now Thakur gives some examples. You have no room to sleep yourself and you invite a friend to sleep with you. There is no place for you to lie down and you say, come friend, come and lie down with me. Laughter, so ridiculous something. So that is how the normal teaching or preaching by sadhus happens. Now it gives an example. Some people used to befoul the bank of the Aldar Pukur at Kamar Pukur every morning. The villagers would notice it and abuse the offenders, but that didn't stop it. At last, the villagers filed a petition with the government. An officer visited the place and put up a sign, commit no nuisance. Offenders will be punished. That stopped it completely. These days, even that may not stop. Afterwards, there was no more trouble. It was a government order and everyone had to obey it. So that it gives a simile of God giving a command to you. Likewise, if God reveals himself to you and gives you the command, then you can preach and teach people. Otherwise, who will listen to you? So this is all in reply to Bankim asking, why don't you preach? So preaching is not a light thing that Thakur described. God himself can preach, should preach, would preach, or God gives command to somebody to preach. Preaching can be done as a guru, preaching can be done as a sadhak. That increases the knowledge of the sadhak. The knowledge grows in vastness and intensity both. The visitors were listening seriously. So many deputy magistrates had come now. Master to Bankim. I understand you are a great Pandit and have written many books. Please tell me what you think about man's duties. What will accompany him after death? You believe in the hereafter, don't you? So there are two questions. What is man's duty and what will accompany him after death? And that assumes that there will be another life after death. So Thakur says, you believe in the hereafter, don't you? Bankim. The hereafter, what is that? So either he does not believe or he pretends not to believe. Now, 14 December, and this is, now I notice, it is December 6. So in Bengali, 710, 711. This portion seems to be missing in the original Bengali, or does it appear at some other point? Anyway, now we continue our reading, though we do not find the equivalent in Bengali. Something else happened. Huh? Oh, in Bengali, this has been given as a, at the end, perhaps I saw this. Okay, we'll read when it comes. Anyway, we have to stop here. Our time is over. We'll pick it up day after tomorrow about Bankim saying the hereafter. What is that? काय राजा?
तुम्ही एक पॅरा सोडला महाराज सर. बंकिम विचारतात आहे सर व्हाय डोंट यू प्रीच, नंतर मास्टर स्माइलिंग करून ते पूर्णच्या पूर्ण सोडूनच दिलं तुम्ही आणि यू कॅम टू द लास्ट मास्टर टू बंकिम. तुमचं तिथे जरा गडबड झाली दिसते.
नाही, बरोबर डॅम झालं ना.
इट इज ओनली अ मॅन्स व्हॅनिटी वगैरे.
मी इंग्लिश अगदी डिटेल वाचतोय.
एक मधला पॅरा म्हणजे 2-3
राधाकृष्ण
you miss the entire what master has said smiling.
That reminds me.
किंवा त्या नवीन याच्यात काय की ते मला माहिती नाही, माझी कॉपी आहे.
on Thursday now.
ठीक है ठीक है. Okay.
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदासतं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. हरिः ॐ तत्सत्. श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.